Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. You know that in any crime, when you investigate it, you try to come with some alternative hypothesis, and then one by one you test them against the evidence that you gathered, and then you just drop one by one, and you narrow your investigation, the field, the leads. And one of the two, which are related, actually, one of the two ways to do that, or to pick the alternate hypothesis, is by saying che bono, using che bono, which is who benefits, or and, which is kind of the same thing, follow the money. So let's say there's a wife and a man, and they walk over a cliff somewhere in California, and he just slips and falls down and dies. And then she collects, about $20 million in his retirement and life insurance. What a coincidence. Poor guy, poor woman. Okay, the first thing is that. Who benefits if he dies? And then they say, okay, she might get $20 million if he dies. She would collect the life insurance and his pension and so on. So she would be definitely been present at the scene when that happened. She is the prime suspect right there by far, okay? Because it's between accident or, all right? Which one is it? And then say, che bono, who would benefit? He wouldn't benefit at all, right? So it's the other one, or maybe the accident. So this is a very clear-cut and easy way to distinguish what, alternate hypothesis you might use in this case. So we have here the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 pipelines. And as you know, that those explosions, a state did it, someone with very good, and that was reported by the Germans, I think, with very high quality and technological means, were able to blow them in 60 meters deep waters of the sea, Baltic Sea, which 60 meters multiplied by 3, you got about 180 feet deep. So in order to go that deep and to plant those explosives, and what kind of explosive, and blah blah blah, you can't be like the Tom Jones from the Baywatch or something. It must be someone else, So someone with the technology. All of a sudden, they didn't do anything. No information for almost 5 months. Investigated by Denmark, Sweden, and some Germans, and nobody else was allowed. Americans were saying, we're going to help if you need us to help. Then the Russians, they wanted, but nobody allowed them, so they cannot get their own information with these guys, not even as observers. All right. Then, if you remember, about 2 weeks ago, Seymour Hirsch, that investigative journalist, came out and he said, well, I have this information from an anonymous source, very detailed how, according to him and his source, during a NATO training and exercise in the area, the Americans went and planted the explosives over there. And then, now is the key word, with the help of Norway went and just dropped a dolly in the sea, and then the Americans remotely exploded, created the explosion. 3 out of 4. So one was a miss. So we got over there 75% success. 3 pipes out of 4 pipes. Nord Stream 1 has 2, Nord Stream 2 has 2. Come and go. Anyway, so Norway, says denied. And first, this Hirsch, he was the one who broke the news about the My Lai massacre in Vietnam, I think in 1968, by the US forces over there, and he did other stuff, and then somehow he got the Pulitzer Prize. These are good things. Now the bad things is that mass media and others, some mainstream, say that he is not credible. He's flamboyant and so on, but it's kind of weird because he's kosher, so you can't really, you know what I mean? But anyway, if you don't know what I mean, you can't really attack because he's gonna, anyway. So he's a good investigative journalist and so on. But because he pointed the finger at Germany, United States and Norway, he was not credible. The big media outlets did not pick up the story and did not promote it. Because it was United States, we said it was not us. Norway said, not us. Okay. Yesterday, surprise, surprise, after 2 weeks this guy shows up in 5 months. Nothing in 5 months. This is the first information. Now, the US intelligence, the credible US intelligence, because the mass media said Hirsch is not credible. That's why they did. Hirsch is not credible. But in United States intelligence is credible. I mean, you gotta be crazy to believe that. Remember, Iraq just as a starter. But somehow they promote this new scenario, whatever they call it, that actually it was a group, we don't know who, but we know, but anyway, there's too many bullshits over there. Now let's go to Norway, because that's what I'm going to talk about today. Norway, remember bono, who benefits, reports a lot of profits in oil and gas. I'm sure it could be a coincidence, but as an alternative hypothesis, I can, based on that crime, based on the revelation from Hirsch, that it was Norway and United States, let's look over this article coming from, oh my God, the bad people of Sputnik from yesterday, which is the 7th of March. Norway racks in record oil and gas revenues amid Ukraine conflict. I'm pretty sure that it's a coincidence. You know what I mean? But let's dig deeper a little bit, okay? Because the connection between the war in general is being just unprovoked, and these poor guys just make a profit because some other people are bad dudes, and they just, they're just lucky. You and I never lucky like this. They are, okay? The same with military industrial complex. Lucky, the big banks. Lucky, the war on whatever by Putin, the bad dude. Okay, we got that thing covered. Now we go back to Norway. Norway, so the general rule, they were lucky, all these companies. Now in particular, Norway was lucky. And what was that pipeline sending, or supposedly could send to Germany? Gas, right? So they just made some profit, Norway, just by coincidence. Correlate that, or at least add to the fact that Hirsch reported that Norway was involved. Now, could be a little bit of a suspect here, talking from an investigative perspective. The exorbitant windfall revenues amid a surge in demand and sky-high energy prices have earned Norway bitter accusations of profiteering from its numerous customers, including Germany, Poland, and EU at large. Well, Germany, Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 was between Russia and Germany. The Norwegian state coffers, remember this is Sputnik, so they will use their terminology, but I don't care about that. You can use it coffers, you can use whatever, sock or pillow or whatever. Earned record oil and gas revenues last year after the hostilities in Ukraine, and ensuring sanctions sent energy prices soaring. Statistics Norway SSB, a lot of SSs, reported. Altogether, Norway earned $140 billion in revenue. $140 billion. That's almost double, not even double, than Ukraine will receive from us. In revenues from oil and gas, by far the highest ever recorded, according to statistics, and nearly 3 times $48 billion earned in 2021, the number Cruncher said. Remember that one of the reasons why some people claim, I'm speaking like a weasel professor from my college years here in the United States, some people say that could be, how many people? Oh, some people criticize that. How many are they? 3 out of the 20 million? I don't care about those 3 people. You know what I mean? It's 3 people. You get more and you create a problem. If you have 3 people, that's not a problem. The same with other things, anyway, diseases and pandemics. Put it in proportionality and you tell me. More people die of car accidents than during sex or something, or therefore we have to ban sex so people don't die. Anyway, so in this case, Remember, the Germans were talking about, some Germans, and that's true, and it was specifically a party that it's in opposition, talking about opening the Nord Stream 2. That was the conversation then, before they, boom. And then in about a week or so, week and a half, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks, within 2 weeks after these guys starting saying, hey, we should open the Nord Stream 2 for gas for winter for the German citizens, they blew it. So again, they blew that up so they will make sure that gas will not come over there. And lucky Norwegians, allegedly with Norwegian help, according to Hirsch and his source. But the Norwegians said, no, it was not us, but we got a profit of $140 billion in last year in gas and oil. Norway, one of the world's leaders in the export of energy resources, assumed the role of EU's top supplier following the bloc's massive sanctions campaign against Russia over its special operation in Ukraine. In 2022, Brussels decided to stop imports from Russia, and the Nordic country ramped up own production. Oslo's additional income was boosted by a record surge in European gas prices over the summer, which have since subsided. Increased exports, revenues from energy amid a surge in demand, and sky-high prices resulted in a massive trade balance surplus of roughly $162 billion in 2022, a level never observed in Norway before. So of course they will help Ukraine with about, $500 million when they got revenue of 162. Yeah, let's give them a little bit of crumbs over there so they can keep fighting and keeping us having a profit, and the sanctions being obviously standing because the war is waging, and we can dig more gold. The current accounts surplus almost tripled compared to 2021. Remember, I'm not implying anything. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just using the information we have, and just talking about, as an investigator would talk about these things. And we investigate to find out who's who, what's what a little bit, don't we? Ask questions. I'm not pretending I'm going to find the truth is based on everybody lying, but hey, at least we can discard certain outrageous allegations and so on. The unhurdled revenues have earned Norway's accusations of mercantilism from its numerous customers, including Germany, Poland, and the EU at large, all of which have been buckling under the dual burden of exorbitant energy prices and runaway inflation. So Oslo has firmly rejected the label of a war profiteer and claims to be merely fulfilling its market obligations. Yeah, have any evidence? What do you want me to do? Not take that. Business is taking advantage of situations. If you don't take advantage of a situation, then you miss the opportunity. Is the opportunity? Take it. Is it illegal? No. So screw you. Inside Norway, calls have been made for Oslo to give away the billions of dollars made in profits from the conflict. No, who are these moralists? I want to see these moralists. No, these moralists should maybe give out of their money, to some poor people in their neighborhood because they took the money somehow by working and not paying enough taxes. Therefore, those guys don't have jobs. You can make all kind of stupid connections to make people say, wait a minute. Remember this as a tactic. When someone comes and says, we should give this to them because of that, or we should tax the rich, but only the ones that are over, $7 million. No, why? Because the rest are considered poor? I'm poor considered with someone that has, $7 million, but I'm rich compared with someone who has, $3,000 a year. I'm very rich compared with that one. So that means I should give to that person, shouldn't I? Or I shouldn't give to a person that's unemployed, shouldn't I? Or you, or the people who accuse? No. They always look up. They never look down. That tells me that's not a principled demand. It's just a, resentment. You'd hate that. You're jealous. You're envious. That's what it is. Otherwise, you would do something. If someone would say, no, we tax you. Well, I make only $50,000 a year. I don't care. I don't make any. So for me, you're the wealthy. Well, he's got billions. Yeah, compared to you, he is wealthy. But you, compared with others, with many, look at the United States of America. Just living here, you're already elevated to a at least 10% of the world population just by merely living in these countries, in the industrial, however you want to call it, first world countries. If you take them, you don't take more than 1.5 billion living in these countries potentially. Out of what? Of 7? That gets you to 20% just by start. So everybody else is poorer than you, just being here. What are you talking about? If you make an average of, let's say, oh, I make only $35,000 a year, compare that with the rest on the planet, you are a freaking wealthy. That's what you are. So zip it in the principle. So everything is relative to whom you compare yourself. You compare yourself with a 1%, not even 1%, 0.0 whatever of the population, of the global population. That's your problem? And you are the problem for the, what, for 80% of the population. So, here is a mirror. Look at it. Not you, because you're here with me. We're the good guys. We're determined, okay? All right. Jesus Christ. So here we have Norway, who I don't know exactly, obviously, what the hanky-panky is underneath. But as a bono who benefits, follow the money, and the report pointing the finger at Norway, helping the United States in blowing those, allegedly blowing the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2, it comes a little bit suspicious to me. But anyway, maybe I'm just a little bit... But freedom of speech allows me. And I don't think I said anything here, or if I say, I can make mistakes, obviously, that is really not logical or is far-fetched. Those guys came with that. Mass media did not pick it, but picked the US intelligence. Unbelievable, That's credible, but this guy is not credible. I would say none of these guys, neither are credible. But anyway, they picked the ones that fit whose interest. And then this says Norway. Norway makes profits. It's a coincidence due to the war, but don't tell me that you're not happy about it. They are happy about it. They are celebrating. I'm guaranteeing you that. All right? So anyway, why wouldn't they? They didn't do anything illegal. I'm for it. Well, what's going to happen? The communists are going to come and take their revenues, their profit. They're going to come and tax the shit out of them. Is that fair? Remember, you're wealthy compared with about 80% of this population. All right? So thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, and I'm wealthy too, so I'm in the same boat as you. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.